baby. We all the way on the fourth row, baby. You look good in that silver and black. Talk about the game, so I'll be handing out cards and everything. I'll be at every Raider game. So. Now can you hear me? We good on the sound now? Yes, no, maybe so. Let me see. We should be good with the sound. Just not donated to the sound bill. Let me see where my sound is at. We good now? Yeah, sound is good. All righty. My bad. Let's start that back over again. Since nobody heard that. As I stated, welcome to another fire episode of the Ultimate Raider Fan 32 show. Now I'm too loud. We are here to break down all the chaos, drama, and book moves coming out of Raiders headquarters. Y'all ready? Let's get it. All right, first up, big changes in the building. Hopefully I'm not too loud still. Mark Davis, right? Hit the reset button. And with Tom Brady now in the mix, as a minority owner, you know this isn't just a regular shakeup. They're cooking up something major for Raider Nation. And speaking of that, let's talk about the head coach search. We went hard for Detroit Lions Ben Johnson, the man's an offensive wizard. But guess what? He chose Chicago. So, you know what I mean? Over the bright lights of Vegas. So it stings a little bit, but you already know. We'll bounce back. Coaching carousel Still spinning, but we'll keep you locked in on who's next. Now let's talk front office. Chad Alexander, the Chargers assistant GM, he's getting a lot of love around here. He's already had one interview and now he's coming back for a second. Don't understand what that is. I mean, maybe he could bring some swagger back to the office. Highly doubt it. We'll see how it plays out, right? Real quick, let's talk money. We got a big bag. We got 90 plus million in cap space heading into the offseason. But hold up, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. We got to lock down some defensive players, right? Morig, Epps, maybe, Spillane. You know, it's going to eat into the bag a little bit, but big question is, how do we play this smart? Drop your ideas in the chat because I know y'all got opinions, as always. One quick last little note, right? Max Crosby, our sack king. Shout out to Max, you know, for as long as we have him, if you will. My guy's a new minority owner for Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Yeah, Max is about that action, man. But, yeah, give it up to the Condor, man, for flexing this business game. That's not only the first one, that's the second one. I told y'all a while back when it came to the pizza deal he had going on. But, yeah, hold up. It's not just me tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We got a special guest rolling through. That's right. Peggy Holmes is in the building. Peggy is a true OG. She's got all the vibes cooking tonight. I promise you, this is going to be a big one tonight. You know, we're going to talk about it all, Raider Nation, and what's next on that postseason. You know, of course, we want to hear her predictions on the remaining games and who she thinks is going to win the Super Bowl. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Peggy's in the building.
Hello.
How you doing, Miss Peggy?
I'm doing just fine, and from 14 degrees in Washington, D.C., shouting out to all my brothers and sisters in the solid South. Down there in Louisiana, Texas, ain't never seen a snowflake.
Yeah, we got a whole lot of it down here, too, right now. They cancel school the whole nine. So
Alabama, you look, anybody that's saying that climate change is a hallucination, I'm here to tell you that the weather patterns have changed, but it's nice for the Southerners to get in on the snow thing, don't you think?
Absolutely.
I like that.
I like it too. I mean, it's a change of pace. It's a change of pace. I've been having to deal with it, you know, obviously with my daughter being up in Minnesota, traveling the Big Ten. Yeah, I just came from Minnesota. Before that, it was New Hampshire. New Hampshire was cold, and now I'm heading to Iowa this weekend. So,
well, you guys
I'm sure it'll be cold.
Stay safe and warm, and I want to get right to it.
Let's do it.
I know I want to talk that we dodged a bullet by not getting Ben Johnson. And let me tell you why.
I agree.
We did not clean house to Lesko Pierce getting rid of the whole kit and caboodle to bring in yet another first-time head coach. Have y'all lost y'all's minds? Have we learned nothing? You gonna get rid of one first-time head coach, and don't tell me Johnson is any deeper. He's got a lot more experience than Pierce had. But this situation is beyond a 911 emergency. The Raiders have no offense.
None.
Whoever gets that job has to build quarterback, O-line, running game, passing game. We need a deep wide receiver. We need everything on offense.
We do.
This ain't a patch job, and this is not a job for a first-time head coach. And I'm glad, whatever the powers that be, y'all need to stop listening to these clickbait, sports skeeter, yard barker. You need to listen to the Raiders. And you're not going to be the cool kid on the block. getting the jump on the news by reading that clickbait trash. They will tell you anything to get your 5 cents.
I agree.
And if you repost it for them, they get even more. Just stop it. For once, sit back and wait for news to evaluate whether it makes sense. A first-time head coach cannot do this job.
Nope.
It's already been proven.
I agree.
So what does that leave us, Mr. Crump?
I know. Shout out to Chris for Raiders, my guy in the building as always.
Hello,
Appreciate
Chris.
you, man. Salutations at Miss Peggy and Turf. We got New England Raider boosters in the game. I had no sound.
Hi,
I
guys.
appreciate you for letting me know that, you know what I'm saying, I got sound now. So I appreciate everybody for coming in through the building. We got my guy Spence, Titletown Sports Talk. Y'all got to go over there. Please subscribe to his channel. If you don't know who Spence is part of the show Dead in the Water on Thursday nights at 8 o'clock, where, we talk all sports. All sports. So appreciate everybody else in the building. James Furpo. Got my family, my guy Steve Jones in the building. And then we also got a longtime favorite, man. Sacktown Raiders.
Sacktown.
Exactly. We got everybody. We got everybody in the building. So let's keep going. Let's keep going. So
thank you so much. We are talking about needing someone, and let's talk about what the Raiders as a franchise need at this moment in time, this moment in history. Forget the clickbait.
Right.
Influencers. We need somebody who has a depth and breadth of head coaching experience, who has also had success at a head coaching spot. He also needs to be an organization guy.
Yes,
okay?
Absolutely.
We don't have a GM. And now they talk about bringing in amateurs for GM. I don't know why the Raiders are repeating that mistake.
It wouldn't
I
make
thought
any sense.
that getting rid of Telesco was a bad idea, but I can understand the argument. Okay, Mr. Crump, right. You can understand it too.
Oh, yeah.
If you're going to bring in a Pete Carroll, a Mike McCarthy, even a Doug Peterson, he's not going to want to work with a GM who didn't hire him.
Nope.
Okay? This is something organizational. This is what we need from the new head coach. I'm not a fan of the GM as head coach or the GM being the buddy of the head coach. I hope we've learned our lesson from that.
Right.
Mayock and Gruden, Ziegler and McDaniels. Okay? I hope we've learned our lesson from that. But as always, we're all on the outside looking in.
Yep.
We need a guy. And I mentioned to you 3 names. Of the 3, of course I would prefer Pete Carroll, but there's one problem. He's a little long in the tooth, Mr. Cook. What do you think?
Well, I mean, for the first time, I'm going to say he passes the turf test, meaning that we want that seasoning. I mean, it's exactly what our team needs. I mean, just to backtrack a quick second, it's going to be tough for us today because I think we literally agree on everything.
Oh, my gosh.
Everything, because as you knew, I didn't want Ben either, not as a head coach. I was hoping that Tom was building a dream team, meaning, hey, Ben, come get this bag and just play OC and assistant head coach, right? And then we're going to bring in some seasoning, right? Bring in some seasoning to run this thing.
Exactly. Somebody who has actually won something, like a Super Bowl.
Exactly. So I thought we dodged the bullet too. I thought we dodged a great bullet too. So
Did you, Mr. Crump, did you see See the tank for #1 crowd crying.
Oh,
Oh my God. He didn't come because we don't have a quarterback. We only have AOC. Let me tell you something. I don't want a coach that's afraid of the challenge.
Right.
Because we got a big one here.
Absolutely.
I want somebody with the nuts, the stamina, and the balls to take on this job. That's Raider. Okay?
Absolutely.
I don't want nobody saying, well, they don't have a running quarterback, a first round draft pick. I don't want them. I don't want any of the cool kids in here.
I agree. I'm telling you, it's going to be a long show for y'all because y'all going to hear a whole lot of bad agreeing and
You're always trying to be part of the cool kids crowd. Oh, we got our Jaden Daniels too. Well, first of all, with Jaden Daniels, year one, folks.
Right.
I never evaluate a rookie after year one.
Right.
He's sneaking up on everybody. Get him coaches an off season to break that film down.
Right.
And see, whenever Jaden is getting ready to run the ball, he does a stutter step. Okay? And they'll see that when he's ready to throw right, when he comes under center, he actually leans right. You see, all of those things are what the NFL teams pay coaches to understand. So this idea that a rookie quarterback, just because he had a great, marvelous first season, and by the way, the cast of characters around him is just as important.
Right.
Don't mean they're going to be there next year either, as C.J. Stroud understood.
Absolutely.
But what we gotta understand is we need to see a coach in here that knows how to take a young quarterback under his wing, whether it's AOC or a draft pick. And I'm not excluding AOC from the conversation at all.
Right.
Okay? Because this young man hadn't had a chance to show us nothing. If he hadn't been hurt, he done changed OCs 4 times. Head coaches twice. God knows how many O-line combinations. And oh, by the way, he hasn't really had a #1 wide receiver since he started last year in 2023. I mean, Devontae's body was here, but that was about it.
That was it. Not his mind. You're absolutely right.
And of course, he was gone by midseason in 2024. So, how do we know that AOC is not our guy?
I agree. I told you this. I don't know. I hope the chat loves watching a whole lot of agreeing because that's probably we're gonna be doing a whole lot of agreeing.
But Mr. Crump, we have to give our homage to the cool kids crowd who wants their Lamar Jackson, who I have now nicknamed Playoff Lamar. My Ravens fans, my apologies to them, but I tell you truly, that guy's not making it past. He's never going to make it to a Super Bowl. Okay? I'm not sure about Josh Allen either. But this is the argument that we have had about the mobile quarterback who can be part of the running game versus the pocket quarterback. Because, ladies and gentlemen, all quarterbacks, no matter how they start their career, end up in the pocket. Okay? Age and injuries. The law of physics is going to do that. So you need to develop a pocket game no matter how much your legs are carrying you.
Right.
And when you're nice and fresh and young and, can take off for those 10, 15, 20-yard runs, when you're 30, you're not doing no such thing.
Right. It actually changes. No, I agree with you. As far as Daniels, don't get me wrong. I do think he is absolutely something special. Shout out to him. Shout out to the Commanders.
I'm gonna give anybody who's doing well, and Lord knows here in this, and I'm in Washington D.C. These poor little Redskin fans are beside themselves. They have been wandering in the desert.
They haven't seen anything like that. Exactly. So, like you said, CJ Stroud.
1991, they've been basically in the desert.
Yeah.
Unlike the Raiders, by the way. But let them enjoy their fun. Okay? They are in the NFC title game. And again, everybody knows that even getting to a Super Bowl is a perfect storm.
It is.
So many things have to
fall your way. No, absolutely right. And I see, but that's the thing. And I think they did that. And you know what I mean? I'll be honest, I don't think you'll see the same type of a drop off that you see with CJ Stroud.
They pay people to break the
Oh no, I understand,
down.
But I don't think he has that great a talent around him right now either. I mean, he's got a couple of pieces, but they have the ability to get
well.
They have the ability to get some better pieces around him too. I don't know where they pick at this draft coming up. They may get another big receiver for him. Maybe they'll get a tight end. I mean, yeah, again, and that's what I'm saying. I don't know, but for him, I will give him the credit, and I will give him the nod that he is something special. It doesn't mean he's not gonna, have the sophomore sorrows. It happens to the best.
It's not even that. You look at a guy like Mahomes,
right?
That from day one he just kept getting better, even though people knew what he was doing.
Yes,
had broken down the film. He just kept getting better and better. And better.
Yep.
He didn't have no sophomore slump.
No.
I'm going to tell you somebody else who didn't either, and that's Marino and Moon. Both ringless quarterbacks. Just because you're a quarterback they can't stop doesn't mean you're a lock for a Super Bowl.
That's very true. That's a great point. That's what
I'm talking about, that perfect storm that has to happen. So many things have to go right to add up. And that's what playoff Lamar and Harbaugh and the Baltimore Ravens are finding out. And that's what the Raider fans have to understand about the quarterback. If we draft one, there will be a development period.
Oh, absolutely.
And we don't know. We have to have the right pieces in place to help this young man out. We have got to have the right head coach and this is the other thing about having a Pete Carroll, a McCarthy, a Peterson. They bring strong staff with them. Bum like Getson brings bums with him. Okay? A bum like even Pierce couldn't bring a good OC, and the DC he had was already here, so he didn't have to do that. But imagine if he had to go out in the market and shop for a DC. What kind of staff could Pierce have brought in? That's why you don't want a first timer.
No, I agree, and that's and to AP's defense, we don't know really what went on there, based on the fact that we know he didn't get Kingsbury.
But we also know the politics.
Oh yeah, no, the politics.
What happened?
Yeah, definitely.
Politics is what happened to Pierce. Okay.
For the most part.
It doesn't matter that he didn't get Kingsbury. He shouldn't have accepted Getsy. That was the kiss of death.
No, that is true. That's the thing.
We talked about this, Mr. Crump.
That's right. He should have never allowed that.
You have to realize, as a brand new head coach, there are people out there inside and outside the organization that don't want you to succeed.
Right.
Maybe they want somebody else to have your job. Maybe they want your job.
It's very possible.
You have to understand. Pierce did not understand the politics. He was done from the day he accepted Getsy.
Yep.
Done. They knew Getsy was a big screw up. Couldn't be anything else. And he brought weak staff with him. Quarterback coach, O-line coach, running back. He brought weak people in with him because he was a weak OC to begin with. Who's going to come with him but bums? Okay?
Straight up bums.
It was programmed to fail from the beginning. All the upheaval with Devontae. Pierce should have known Devontae was a problem the day they got rid of Carr.
Yes.
Who didn't know that? That's what I'm talking about, the politics.
Right. No, you're right. The politics.
He should have been looking for a number one wide receiver at the beginning of 2024.
Yep.
And gotten Devontae out of there.
Yep.
But he didn't sense the politics of it. And I'm not saying that Pierce couldn't have been a good head coach. I'm saying the Raiders are in too much trouble.
Right.
To have people around that don't have enough experience. We just are in too much trouble. McDaniels decimated us. Oh, by the way, Mr. Crump, did you hear that fool Vrabel up in New England actually is going to hire McDaniels?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I just saw it.
Yes,
I just saw it. You know, that's the good old boys right there, though. You know, it's part of the course. I mean, if we didn't know, I mean, and hey, again, shout out to Spence. He's out here. I know he's happy about it. And I can't blame him because, hey, look, the truth is the man was never, ever a bad offensive coordinator. He was just an absolute awful head coach.
Well, but we don't really know whether he's a good offensive coordinator either. He spent 12, right. He was 12, out of his 12 years, he had Tom Brady.
Yes,
I
agree.
Ran the offense, not him.
I agree. And that's why it's hard to...
As soon as Tom Brady left, what was McDaniels able to do with that offense?
I agree.
As soon as Tom Brady was gone.
Same thing for Belichick.
Got here, decimated our offense. He took apart our best unit.
Right.
The best well-running unit on the team and completely destroyed it. Mr. Crump, I had no idea that he had destroyed... He and that fool that went to New York Giants, what was his name? The one I was glad that took a Luminor with him.
Yep.
I didn't realize how much damage had been done to the O-line either.
Yeah.
I had
it's
no
been a
idea.
We got a question.
Yes, sir.
We got a question from Mr. Tony Shepard. What's up, Chef, man? Appreciate you for coming through. What does Peggy think of Josh Allen and the Bills?
And let me tell you, I'm in a position with a bunch of networks and so forth where I talk to fans, intelligent fans, not the clickbait crap.
Right.
of other teams.
Oh, yeah.
And I have told those Bill fans consistently, until Josh Allen makes it to a Super Bowl.
Right.
Just makes it to a Super Bowl. I ain't saying he had to win it.
Just get there.
He hasn't gotten there yet. And he still hadn't gotten there. The thing that you need to look for Josh Allen is whether he learned about the need for a short passing game.
Right.
Against the Chiefs last year, they didn't figure out that they had to take what Kansas City's defense was giving them until late in the third quarter.
Yep.
But it was too late. Just like Marv Levy in that Giants Super Bowl. You got the Giants, and just like the Chiefs, you're not throwing deep on us, and you're not going to run on us.
Right. Absolutely right.
What's left? The middle of the field. Okay? And if that's what I need to see, that Josh Allen has learned to use his tight ends and running backs for those short passes out in the flat, those posts across the middle. You got to attack Kansas City in the middle. Right. Because they're giving you nothing deep, and they're not going to let you run.
Nope.
Did Josh learn? We shall see now, shall we?
I doubt it. I'll say it.
Your legs are not going to win you a game against Kansas City, because they don't care about your legs. When you're reduced to your quarterback being your top rusher, they have succeeded.
Yep.
You have no running game. It's an illusion. And just like playoff Lamar got to understand, you can't be the leading rusher. Why did you only get a ball to King Henry 16 times when we have told you repeatedly?
Yes. I don't know why that happened either.
Because it has to be the Lamar Jackson show in Baltimore. It's a culture. It's a thing they can't seem to break through.
Break the habit.
Henry needs the ball 25 times.
At minimum.
But you got to understand, by the fourth quarter with that undersized Bill defense and the fatigue of trying to stop this guy and them big bodies for 3 straight quarters, by the fourth quarter, you will have your way.
I agree.
That's what Joe Gibbs showed you with Riggins.
Yep.
He showed you that. Of course he's going to go get 2, 3, 4 yards in the first quarter when they're all energized and tough.
Right.
But it's the fourth quarter. That's what you're aiming for. It's a 4-quarter game, not a 2-quarter game.
Right.
And I don't think Lamar understands it, and I'm not sure Josh Allen understands that. And if he doesn't understand the way to beat the Chiefs is a short passing game, he's going to go home again too.
Yep. Nope, you're right. Now to Spencer's defense, he's pulled up a couple of things that I figured, and I don't know why I can't pull it up, Spence. I know it's he did. I did bring up one of them now. As far as Josh McDaniels, he did have a 10-win season with Cassell, and he was not a good quarterback. And then he also won 8 games with Kyle Orton and took him to the playoffs with Tebow too. So
I can understand.
I'll give him the props for pulling that one out.
And I tell you, hope is the child of dreams. Let me say that again. Somebody like a Mike Vrabel gives you a Super Bowl appearance in Tennessee,
right?
Or Ron Rivera gives you one Super Bowl appearance, and all of a sudden, he's the greatest coach to ever live. They never have to work again. They never have to get you to the playoffs again.
Right.
Because of that 1 or 2 good seasons that they had. There's a lot of good old boys in the coaching network that coast on that 1 or 2 good seasons. And Josh McDaniels is no exception. He can even take credit for the Brady years, right?
I mean, that's what he's doing, to be honest. That is what he's doing.
But we'll see whether Vrabel and McDaniels stay friends if they don't develop that boy Drake May.
Right.
Or whoever they decide to want.
And that's a great question.
Milton, or whatever. You know? We'll see. Vrabel has a history of throwing coordinators under the bus.
Right.
He even had one of our old friends, Todd Downing, as his last offensive coordinator for 2 years, threw him under the bus too.
Right.
And that was about 2 weeks before he got fired. So let us not. One Super Bowl appearance don't make you a great coach. Okay?
Yep.
You need consistency. This is something in the clickbait Madden junkie age that people keep forgetting. Don't tell me what somebody did 1 year.
No,
Tell
that's a
me
good
about
point.
2, 3, 4
No,
straight years
it's a good
of
point.
consistent high-level performance. Now we're talking.
Right.
Now we're talking HOF.
What's going
Now
on,
we're
Rick?
talking championships. Aloha, Rick. And
Aloha, Rick. So,
until we
Christopher Raiders
see,
has a good question. Why is people expecting Kingsbury to leave Washington?
where you read that? Which clickbait one did you read? Is that Yard Baca? The Score? Sports Skeeter?
Yeah, I don't know where that one came, but
This and
he would be.
go ahead.
I was gonna say he would be making a terrible decision, in my opinion. He's already had
Don't worry about
2 shots.
Kingsbury.
He's
He
already
has
had
a
2 shots
shelf
at.
life.
Right, but I'm saying I don't think he has. See, I don't think he has a shelf life as a coordinator. I think his shelf life has already ran out though as a head coach, and he reminds me of like a Wade Phillips, who was always a master at his craft, but always wanted that top job, even though that just didn't suit him. So I mean, I could see the same exact thing happening for him. I mean, it's happening to Chip Kelly. Right, I mean, you see what he does when he goes back to his rightful position, as opposed to trying to be the head man in charge. Because those kind of guys, right, especially the offensive ones, they try to do both, and I don't know how you can do that, especially as a rookie. When it comes to Ben Johnson, what he's going to run an offense and be a head coach and lead men of men? I don't see that happen. But he's going to get somebody else's playbook. You know what I mean? And now they're going to run his playbook through some other offensive court. None of that really makes sense. So,
but I mean, every team deep down in their heart is expecting to find a baby Joe Gibbs. Okay? Now you know they are. They always looking for that guy that defies logic.
Right.
Okay? Joe Gibbs came in as an offensive genius, and he was the head coach too. The first good thing he did was put the defense in the hand of Rich Pettibone and let him stand on his side of the sideline and never did the two talk. Okay? That was a stroke of genius and good luck.
Right.
He found his defensive coordinator early, so he didn't have to worry about that side of the team. Now he could be what you just said, doing both jobs. 2 hats.
Right.
He could be the OC because he didn't have to worry about the defense. It was in good hands.
Right.
As many will agree. Now, of course, we found out about Pettibone, one and done, as the head coach.
Right.
But that's another story for another day. And it goes back to what you were saying. It's that Peter principle, isn't it, Mr. Crump?
Yes.
You rise to your level. And that's why I'm sitting up there laughing about Dallas wanting to promote Brian Schottenheimer. Okay?
That.
Who I've always thought had a decent offensive mind. Not a great one, but a decent offensive mind. I mean, I'm not impressed.
Nah, he's riding his dad's coattails.
Exactly.
We all know it.
What happens when you take a guy like that and make him a head coach? You see, that's pedigree, right? He's got the pedigree, the family name.
Yep.
But Brian been around a long time, and ain't nobody hired him as head coach.
Nope.
Nobody but Jerry, right?
Yeah, Jerry is a whole nother conversation. So we got Jeffrey in the building. Shout out to Jeffrey. Clearly Jeffrey don't know Miss Peggy and I. His question is, so I take it you both think Ben Johnson would have been a bad hire?
No. I don't think bad is the word that we need to use.
Right.
It is not what the Raiders
need. And that's a big, huge key. Honest.
First timers, I'm tired of the Dr. Frankenstein experiments. Why must we always put our hand in the fire to know that it burned. Why do we have to do that? Are you insane? You've seen what happens. You know how deep our offensive problem is. We need a genius offensive coordinator, and that's going to only come with a genius head coach.
Right.
Somebody with the chops to bring in a top offensive coordinator.
We got a super chat from Chris for the Raiders. Sorry to say this, but coaching for the Raiders is like working for Apple temporary service.
But Chris, we did that to ourselves, did we not?
We did.
Mistake after mistake after mistake. Mark is paying 3 former head coaches, and 3. I was shocked to find that he's still paying Madoff.
Yeah.
So that's 3 former GMs.
It's a lot.
3 former head coaches. He can't afford to get it wrong anymore.
No.
And when I say afford, I do mean the bank.
Absolutely, 100%. He's already paying 4 coaches. He's paying 4 coaches right now.
He's paying 6 guys who are not working for him.
Right.
And he ain't paying them no chump change.
Nah.
They not getting no minimum wage, okay?
Right.
These guys are getting $1 million checks.
Yep. And for you young bucks out there, Tony Shepard just gave y'all a quick lesson that Miss Peggy was already giving y'all. Gibbs won a Super Bowl with 3 different QBs.
That's because
I don't know many other head coaches that's doing that.
Well, because they forgot the lesson. The quarterback is not the center of the offense.
It's not. I mean, you're right.
The O-line.
The line, exactly.
Dang.
It's the offensive line.
He tried to teach the NFL how to save a lot of money on quarterbacks and running backs. How do you save a lot of money? Don't have to pay no quarterback because you got the Cadillac O-line.
You're right.
You got 2 Hall of Famers and 4 All-Pros at any given time on your O-line. Once you have the O-line in place, anybody who is competent, any quarterback, any running back can play behind that line and be safe and productive. That's what Joe Gibbs showed you. But yet and still, that lesson has been forgotten in the bling-bling, Madden junkie, fantasy football, clickbait world of football today.
Right.
People have forgotten. Now, everybody wants to be a cool kid. They want to have the coolest quarterback on the block so they can brag. Ooh, look at my quarterback running down the field.
Right.
They're going to be running when he's 30, honey, if he lasts that long. Remember RG Me and Slash.
Right. No, these are all fabulous, great points. And that even goes for the guy that I think everyone knows, I do think that Jaden Daniels is that guy. He was the only one I wanted to give everything up for. He was the only one I was willing to do that for. So, but the jury's not out on him yet. It's no different than C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud did not look good.
Show me that year after year, just like Mahomes, despite them knowing what to expect from you now, because this year no one knew what to expect from Daniels. And the other part of that, for people who actually know football, even if you know what to expect from a quarterback, do you have the personnel? Can you execute the defense that will give him fits? Okay?
Right.
Not every team is going to be able to do that either.
Nope.
Okay? So we have this conundrum of this bling-bling world where everyone wants instant gratification. They are awed by 1 year of a quarterback's hopefully long career.
Right.
Right? For Jaden, don't you hope that we'll see him around 10 years from now?
Absolutely.
Doing just as good or even better than he was doing this year.
Right.
Okay? You gotta understand that football is a long game.
It's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
But not in the bling bling Madden junkie franchise mode world. Right? I gotta get my controller. My son left a couple of controllers behind. I haven't learned what buttons to click, but I understand you can swap out a quarterback
Right.
if he fumbles. And I understand that you can put in legends as quarterback. Okay? You can put Dan Marino back there.
Right. We got another question. Mr. Rick Samarano in the building. Maybe if we had a GM already for Ben Johnson to succeed. The revolving door in the Raider front offices. But the question is, he says, what do you think for GM first? Then head coach or buck ass backwards?
I can't tell you if I was shocked by the dismissal of Telesco.
I was too. I won't lie. I mean, I was a little shocked at that.
I could understand the argument, Mr. Crump, and you did too. I know you understood the theoretical argument.
Correct.
All right. You did not want a coach to be deterred by the fact that a GM was already in place that really didn't hire him. All right. But having gotten rid of Telesco, you created another vacuum at the very time where you already had a head coach vacuum. You created two vacuums.
Yep.
Of power, of influence, of continuity. Empty spaces. And that emptiness can only be filled by a guy with experience. That's why Mr. Crump, you'll agree with me, we didn't hate the Ben Johnson hire.
No.
We thought it was inappropriate.
Correct. Absolutely.
At this time.
It's not the right decision.
Because there are too many power vacuums within the Raider organization. I have no idea what Mark or Tom Brady think they're doing, but I know Mark is just gone. He's buck stupid. But Tom Brady is a guy with zero experience running a franchise.
It's true. We don't know if that's all going to work out like everyone just assumes and thinks.
It's another Dr. Frankenstein experiment. I mean, Mary Shelley said, and I'm just going to go, just a little bit of history, because I'm a history professor. But Mary Shelley said, the writer of Dr. Frankenstein, sometimes even though you can do something, you should.
Doesn't mean you should. Absolutely right.
Does not mean you should. Raiders created two power vacuums by firing Telesco too. And now there's only one kind of guy that can fill that mold. And I'm afraid that we might be in another situation where the GM is the puppet of the head coach.
Unfortunately.
We learned nothing from the Mayock, Gruden, Ziegler. And let me go back even further. And Del Rio McKenzie. You know who was running that relationship, right? Go fetch me some coffee, Reggie. Come back. I want to get rid of Musgrave. The guy that produced the number 6 offense, Carr's best years in pro. I want to get rid of him and replace him with a guy with zero offensive coordinator experience. Mr. Todd Downing again. And Reggie says, "Okay." See, the role of a GM is to make sure that the right decisions are made for the franchise.
Correct.
There is no way a strong GM would have allowed that to happen.
Nope.
But Del Rio ran McKenzie. And see why the Raiders... making the mistakes. There are no checks and balances. There's no balance in the experience levels between coaches and GM. All 1 year had never been GMs before.
Right.
And now you talk about this assistant GM for the Chargers, another guy with 0 GM experience.
Yeah.
The head coach will run him.
Right. Right.
We already have seen the failure of that model 3 straight times. Why are we trying to do it a 4th time?
Doesn't make sense.
That's because Brady don't know what the F he's doing. Mark never knew what the F he was doing.
That is very true.
A 4th time, we're going to bring in a power and experience imbalance between the GM and the head coach again.
Right. You're right. You are absolutely right. We got another good question from Jeffrey. I'm really liking Will Howard. This is the quarterback from Ohio State in this draft. Obviously in the 2nd or 3rd round. What do you think?
Oh, and that's what I was trying to convince the tank for number 1 crowd. Shador and Ward aren't the only 2 quarterbacks in this draft, guys.
No.
Gems have been found in lower rounds, a.k.a. Russ Wilson, 3rd round, right?
Correct.
Tom Brady, what was he, 7th round?
6th round.
6th round. Yeah. I mean, just because a guy is drafted in the 1st round doesn't mean he's going to be successful. And just because he's drafted in the 3rd or 4th round. Hell, we got Derek Carr 2nd round, did we not?
Yeah. I don't even know if it was 2nd round. Might have been even later than that.
No, I think it might have been 2nd round. But the point is, they're not the only 2 guys in the draft.
Correct.
There are other guys in the draft.
Correct.
And Howard, I know, was dazzling last night, right? Was he not?
Amazing.
And
good player.
He's got some good weapons around him too, and good coaching. The question is, as always, how does that translate to the NFL level?
Right.
And see, I'm the wrong person to ask about a college quarterback. I don't care who he is. I mean, I don't believe in sure locks.
Right. No, I don't either.
Whoever, again, with a young college guy, any college guy at any position, it's more important who you're drafted by.
Right.
Than your skill set.
No, I agree. Shout out to my nephew. If the Raiders don't get a quarterback, they're cooked. Nephew, well, I agree. Right? We need something. We need a quarterback.
Well, and this is a move that should have been made. Instead of getting rid of Carr, should have just drafted a quarterback.
That is correct. We should have never got rid of Carr.
You draft a quarterback to sit behind him like they did with Mahomes and Alex Smith. Now, that's how smart franchises do it.
Correct.
Okay? And what they let Alex Smith play out the season. Then Alex went down about game 14. Poof. Mahomes.
Yep.
And you never saw Alex again. I think he went to Washington. He went to Washington, didn't he? And got his knee badly torn up. I mean, it was terrible.
Yep.
But the whole point is, that's how smart franchises do it. And our nemesis, the Kansas City Chiefs, whatever you want us, the cheating Chiefs, whatever you want to call them, they're smart. They run their franchise well. They make good decisions. That's why they're going to probably win another Super Bowl. This is something that we have to come to grips with here in Raiderland.
Right.
You have to make good decisions. You can't act on emotion. Oh, I want to get rid of Carr. Let's get rid of Carr. Let's not even think about how we're going to replace him.
Right. No, exactly. I mean, Chris just says it right here. It doesn't matter what quarterback we get. We need a coach to coach him up. I mean, we're putting the cart before the horse still.
I mean, we're still talking about an offensive. We're back to offensive coordinator, Mr. Crump, are we not?
Right.
The head coach isn't going to develop your young quarterback. The offensive coordinator and his quarterbacks coach are.
Right.
Whoever he picks. So we're still back to having an experienced guy who can bring in top staff, including a top OC. I don't know many head coaches. We named them at the top of the hour, did we not? I don't know many head coaches that can get the top OC. And remember, we getting kind of late. We getting kind of late in the hiring season. Okay?
We getting way late.
Raiders are waiting too long. And there again, that inexperience.
You're right. You're right. Because they should be in the building right now.
Davis.
Yeah.
We should have already named the new guys.
Right.
Get them off the market. Okay?
Right.
So they can go and pick staff before a Kellen Moore or, a Kubiak finds somewhere else to go.
Right. So Spence asked us, how about Adam Peters from the 49ers? What you know about this guy?
I don't know anything about him.
I don't know much about him either. He's younger, right? From 45, to be right. I'm assuming GM.
Has he ever been a head coach? He's the GM. But see,
he's a GM again,
we're already set up for a power imbalance, an experience imbalance. If you're talking about first-time GMs,
right,
and an experienced coach like Peterson or McCarthy or Carroll, they're gonna run those guys.
Right, he's an assistant GM.
Yeah, yes, there you go. Somebody who's never
he's still learning the game.
Now, guys, how many times do we have to do this? Are y'all serious? How many times do we have to go through this to understand we really needed a Telesco?
Yes. I'm not gonna lie. With what he did,
I have no idea whose idea it was to fire. It sounded really personal to me. What do you think, Mr. Crump? It sounded personal.
It was so. All of this is crazy because it's all speculation. It led me to believe that we were getting Ben Johnson because Ben Johnson probably wanted his own specific GM. Right? Or somebody. Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
The head coach choosing the GM. Exactly. Who does that? The Raiders.
Apparently the Raiders. Hey, look. Maybe they're thinking the third
how's
time
that
is
worked
a charm.
out for us?
I agree.
Worked out for us?
I agree right along with you, but it's the only thing I can think of as far as what their thought process was behind all of this.
It sounded real personal to me.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like somebody, either Mark or Tom, did not like Telesco.
Right. I agree. And it was so done, so tasteless. It was all of it. It wasn't all the way wrong.
It wasn't Raider. And that's how I knew Brady's hand was in on it. It wasn't Raider. You don't cut off heads like that. Don't create power vacuums in your organization unless you have a plan. It's been almost 2-3 weeks, has it not? Yes. Where's your plan? Where are your new people? Where's your new GM? Are you going to seriously bring in a GM with zero GM experience?
I don't want that.
Head coach with zero head coaching experience. You haven't learned anything.
Right.
And that's my point. We dodged a bullet.
I
am glad Ben Johnson went to the Bears. And it makes sense, right? From Ben Johnson's point of view, which division does he know the best?
Right. That division. He can steal. You're right.
I don't even understand why anybody's upset.
This is why we bring you on the show. This is why we bring you on.
The guy is an NFC Norther, not an AFC
right.
Western.
Right. He knows nothing about this world over here.
No, he does not. And if I'm a new head coach,
right, I'm going
to get as much familiar around me as possible so I can succeed. Now, Ben Johnson does know the politics.
Absolutely.
Right? Absolutely. Of being a head coach, unlike Pierce. He
Correct.
does know the politics. Hell, Pierce would have done better with where he came from, which
I agree
was
with the Giants.
the NFC East.
Right, Giants. Yeah.
He'd have stood a better chance over there than messing around in this shark-infested waters. Nothing but sharks over here
Right.
in Vegas.
No,
Nothing.
you're absolutely right.
Everybody in the NFL knows it now. And oh, by the way, that's going to make our next GM and head coaching choice even more expensive.
It is. Very, very expensive. So we got Rick Samarano again asking, how about Pete Carroll for advisory? I want
what?
Pete Carroll as the head coach.
Excuse me.
I want
Didn't
Pete
we
Carroll
have
as the head coach.
Didn't we have a bunch of advisors in here last year?
Exactly.
How many games did we
How'd
win?
that work out for us?
4.
I agree. I don't want no advice. I
Why
want somebody
do
that's going to
people-
coach.
Why
Yeah.
do people see something done, see it's a total and complete failure, yet they keep wanting to do it again?
Right.
We don't need any advisors. We need a head coach and a GM that know what they're doing.
Right. I could not agree more. I mean, the only place I want any kind of young talent is at the coordinator position, but it must be a very, very strong, you know what I mean, head coach that's going to be able to guide that situation.
Yeah, I don't mind if a head coach like Carroll says, I'm going to take a chance on this guy. I trust Carroll's judgment. I trust McCarthy's judgment. I even trust Doug Peterson. Oh, by the way, guys, he does have a Super Bowl ring. Okay?
Yeah.
And anybody who goes into that Jacksonville swamp, quicksand, with Trent Baalke, the coach killer, and Khan, who is just about as clueless as Davis is. That's why when y'all start complaining about Davis, oh, I got some names for you, starting with Mr. Khan. But I could understand Peterson was never going to succeed with Trent Baalke there. Okay? Baalke cut Harbaugh's head off and sent him to Michigan.
Yeah, he did. I remember that.
He got Harbaugh's scalp up on his wall. Okay? So Peterson, he was dummy. I think Peterson is a good coach. I think Jacksonville is a horrible situation.
It is. I agree.
I know who they gonna find. I mean, both the Raiders and Jacksonville are gonna have trouble.
Yeah, we're gonna have a problem. Brando Sipple in the building. Another retread. He's the youngest 73-year-old you'll ever meet, whatever that means. And
I understand, yeah.
I understand too.
Concern. I want to hire Pete and then have the ambulance wheeling him off the sideline. Because age is a factor in terms of energy level.
Right.
He spent a lot of time in Seattle turning that entire organization around, and he did a wonderful job. Okay? He set the, just like with Chuck Noll in Pittsburgh, he set the stage for the next 20, 30 years of success in Seattle.
Yep.
Okay? That's why I'm enamored of a guy like Pete Carroll. I want him to do that for us.
Exactly. Exactly right.
The problem is,
that's the experience he has. He's already done this. And that's the thing that people don't want to hear.
You need a guy that can set the tone and foundation for the next 20 to 25
Correct.
years. Very special. Only a few guys can do that.
Right. Now, here we go. My nephew here again. I got to school you here on this one, nephew. Darius Flowers. Ben Johnson was the best head coach in candidate, by far. The Raiders need creative offensive play calling to deal with the lack of talent. The Raiders also need a lot of help evaluating talent. Well, check this out, nephew. We had that help with Tom Telesco. Tom Telesco just hit a trifecta. You can't tell me we're wrong there. We got Bowers, JPJ, and Glaze. back to back to back. Name other GMs that hit on top 3 picks. So we actually had that going for us, and it was going in the right direction. We just found a way to, mess that up as usual. Typical dysfunction, right?
And I cannot see how anyone can know that Ben Johnson will be a
exactly. You, Darius.
How do you know this?
He's 38 years old. He's 38 years old.
How do
he's
you
never
know?
been in any other. He's been in no other offensive coordinator position. That team is stacked back to back. They've had more injuries than any other team in the league, and they still got as far as they did. And in my opinion, if they had a better quarterback than Goff, don't get me started, it wouldn't even have been a question.
Serviceable.
He's serviceable. Exactly. That's all he is, though. He's not something that's above that.
Excuse me. Unlike Lamar and Josh Allen, Goff has been to a Super Bowl. So
that's actually true. He went with the Rams. And see, to me, it was telling that McVay got rid of him. I mean, don't get me wrong. He did get Stafford, which I think a lot of people would get rid of a lot of their quarterbacks with Stafford. I wish we could get Stafford right now.
Matt is absolutely one of my, most favorite quarterbacks.
Oh, me! I told y'all, man, Miss Peggy was going to be agreeing all night. He's going to be agreeing all night because
call him an old man, a pocket quarterback. Yep. Call him every name in the book. But I'd hate to be a defensive coordinator trying to stop him.
Right.
When he's behind or when his receivers
right
are tearing my secondary up. There's no answer for him. Okay? Yep. That's what I mean by a quarterback who has shown me by a body of work over 10, 15 years. Stafford's still on top of his game.
No, you're right, Brandon Sipple. You are spot on. Harbaugh has heart problems, and he's 15, 20 years younger than our guy Pete Carroll. Yeah, that age is a fact.
Yeah, that worries
and he just had double hip replacement. We're talking about Harbaugh. Pete Carroll is a young 73-year-old player.
I know. I can get over
coach.
that. But I have to go with the cool kids when they say he's too old. I would prefer a 50-year-old Pete Carroll to a 70-year-old.
Obviously, I mean, of course, because we know we're not going to get him for the time we need him. That's the problem. We need Pete Carroll to create that stability for years to come. And that's what we're dealing with. Yeah, we need that stability like nobody's business. And we haven't had it in 30 years.
And the youngins need to learn, just because some clickbait article done told you how great and wonderful and he'll make a great head coach. I prefer a guy that's already shown me.
Exactly. Pete has done it. Multiple places.
Why do you not prefer somebody that has shown you he's a great head coach?
Shown you the way.
Why? That's the backwards thinking in Raider Nation that I just don't understand. And it's a symptom of why we lose.
Yep.
Why we have losing season. The mentality of what makes a good football franchise. We just don't understand. We don't look at the Green Bays and the Rams and the Pittsburghs and the Baltimores of the world and understand how their organizations got put together and how come they're working.
Correct.
And they don't need to win a Super Bowl every year to prove anything.
Nope.
They just need to be contenders. Because once again, a Super Bowl is a perfect storm of events. No way the Washington Redskins should be in the NFC title game.
No.
According to the preseason predictions, according to the way the season went, Detroit should have knocked them off. But
correct.
We didn't know the football knew it was inevitable that all those injuries were going to catch up with Detroit.
Right. Well, and to be honest, again, I say it all the time, jokingly. I swear the guy stole my lunch money or something, but I just don't think that Jared Goff is that good of a quarterback. I'm sorry.
I mean, you
Don't
may
get me
be
wrong. He
right.
said it. He's serviceable. He literally lost the game. He lost the game. In my opinion, he lost the game.
That defense was never going to stop Jaden Daniels. Do you understand?
True. Very true.
Goff could have scored 50 points and they still would have lost.
Right.
Because when you go into the playoffs, every little minute weakness that your good team has will be exposed. There's no getting around it. Detroit's weakness was the ton of injuries on defense. And they did a marvelous job to get where they got. But the perfect storm came for Washington. They met a team that was ready to lose.
Yep.
And they did. Big time. They scored 45 points on that Detroit defense. That was a defense that had run out of gas. Okay? They didn't have no more to give.
Right.
They just didn't have any more to give. All their horses was gone. Linebackers, defensive linemen. The guy was saying Hutchinson got injured like the 5th or 6th game of the season with 7 sacks. Nobody on that D-line had more than 7 sacks. He remained the sack leader, gone for 12 games. Okay? You don't have a pass rush. You're not stopping anybody.
No.
Everyone knows this. It was just inevitable. And that's what I mean by a perfect storm.
Right.
Okay? And I'm going to tell you the perfect storm might even work in Washington's favor in the title game. Just as a prediction.
Absolutely. There's a lot going in their favor right now.
Hurts continues to be nicked up.
Yes. I don't think he's right. I've been saying this
he has a
since that concussion. I don't think he's right.
No. And that perfect storm, okay, may continue catching the Eagles not ready.
Right.
Even though they play in the same division, the Eagles unable to keep up with Washington's scoring. And this is something when we talk about how the teams get to Super Bowls.
Right.
Because you know Marino and Moon, God knows those are 2 quarterbacks that should have had 3-4 Super Bowls.
Easy. They should have easily had.
Marino went in his 2nd year, lost, and never returned. Moon never even got close. Well, he got to a few AFC title games. Those are 2 career quarterbacks in the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
That's why I'm saying the perfect storm of a Super Bowl. Okay?
Yep. My nephew is back at it. I
can't.
Those older head coaches are washed. Every franchise would rather take a chance on a coordinator than an older winning coach. If Bill Belichick had to find a college job, them boys better follow suit. You know what? You do make a point. You do make a little bit of a point. I'll give you that to an extent, nephew. To an extent. But I think you're wrong on Bill Belichick. And Spence, I know you here. That's your guy. Come defend your guy, man. I think he took that job, Darius, for different monetary reasons. I think that he's going to make probably more money and have total 100% control as opposed to trying to have to deal with another.
I understand Bill hasn't signed the contract down in North Carolina. Is this true?
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible he hasn't even,
And I got this report, not from clickbait,
right,
but from North Carolina's newsletter themselves, their site themselves. He has not signed that quarterback. And y'all got to remember how shady Bill Belichick is.
Yeah.
And you'll recall when Parcells left the Jets, he said, here's your new head coach. And he anointed Bill Belichick. 1 week later, where was Bill? In New England.
No, yeah, you're right. You're right. We got Mr. Davis in the building. You can't
trust nothing that comes out of them shady New Englanders' mouths. They are not to be trusted.
The Lions had 14 injured reserve. They lost the Meek during the game. I knew, and I said that. When the Meek went out that game, I knew it was over. Wasn't really in it in defense anyways. And don't forget, the Lions, just the Chargers, are the Chargers. No championship pedigree
Amen,
ever.
David. Amen, David. People got to understand, all you had to do, by the way, I won $50 in my betting pool because I predicted that the Chargers was going to make it through the regular season and then shoot themselves in the foot in the playoffs. Okay? And it happened.
Right.
Ford goes out there and throws 4 interceptions. This happens to the Chargers since 1963, guys.
Man, never won.
You can count on them. Somewhere along the way, they gonna kill their own chances.
All right.
It's going to happen. Doesn't matter who the quarterback is, John Hadle. You know I'm going back and I'm going to the Wayback Machine, right? Philip Rivers. Doesn't matter who it is.
Right.
They're going to shoot themselves in the foot every single time. It just like clockwork.
Right.
And that's why that statement about the Lions just being, the Chargers of the NFC.
Right. Exactly.
You can count on the Lions to mess up sometime.
Right. So you were right. The president confirmed last week that he has not signed yet.
Correct.
Good looking out, Spence, on that ish, on that.
I'm telling y'all now.
Yep.
Bill is keeping all his options open.
He is. He really is.
In case he get that phone call from a desperate NFL team like Jacksonville and say, but Bill gonna want Balky to be out.
Yeah.
Bill not coming with Balky.
Nah, he running everything. He's running everything.
And that's what I'm trying to say. Bill even thinks we gonna call him.
Right. No, I think you're right. And I think he's got some schmoozing to do as far as whatever that is with him and Mr. Brady. But I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen.
Raider Nation will not tolerate
another Patriot.
Bill Belichick.
Exactly.
That's why even the presence of Brady in the building
it causes a little bit of problem
to most Raider fans.
I agree. I
mean, I'm never going to be comfortable with that. Don't even try to talk to me about how great a quarterback he was.
Right.
Has he ever scouted, draft, coached, run a front office, or run a franchise?
Right.
The answer is no.
So we got one last one for tonight. It's actually nephew number 2. Shout out to Dev, nephew number 2. Raiders need to trade up for Shador.
We'll trade your firstborn.
Thank you, Miss Peggy.
Because they know if GMs smell how desperate you are,
right?
They're gonna ask for everything. Next year, your 2026 number 1 pick. Your 2026 number 3 pick, like we got from the Bears for Mac, right?
Right. They're gonna want everything.
They're gonna want everything. That's why Telesco didn't make the trade. Nobody 1 to 13, and that includes the Raiders, traded their pick. They had a swap, right? Minnesota and the Jets swapped places.
Yep.
But no one was able to get any of the teams. Why? Because the price is too high.
Right.
So does he have any children? we can offer them one of his first.
Exactly.
If he has more than one, we'll offer them his first
Right,
boy.
right.
And if it's a boy, maybe we can get even more. Because that's what they're going to want. They're going to want everything from you. They're going to want your 2026 picks and everything if they smell how desperate you are to get Shador.
Right, absolutely. Go Broncos. Go Broncos. Say Bronco country. How does it feel to be on the couch with
I
us?
know.
I'm just curious.
Didn't that little young one do well this
year?
Another one.
Shout out to Go Broncos. Hey, I appreciate the super chat for real, man. You know we both sitting at home just sad right now. So we appreciate the love coming through and chilling with us, man.
and let me say this about it. I put Bo Nix in the same category with Jaden Daniels. You got to show me.
You need another year.
Well, you need to show me consistently getting better year after year. But he had a wonderful season.
Right.
And you could see him maturing right in front of your eyes.
Absolutely.
You see it? I mean, he was getting better at dealing with blitzes. He was getting better at reading cover 2, which he had trouble with in the beginning.
Yep.
He was a master of a whole lot of things by the end of the season. I said, that's a smart guy.
Yep. My guy Brent Beers is in the building. Hey there, did we hire a coach? Not yet, Brent.
And no, we didn't.
Not yet.
One more comment about Denver. I can't let a Bronco leave the stage without shouting, throwing a few bricks. Congratulations on quarterback number 13 since Peyton Manning left in 2015. Y'all finally got a new quarterback.
Right, exactly. It finally got you one. And I'll admit it.
9 years later.
Yep. I gotta bring myself to the front of the congregation because, hey, look, the kid looks sharp, man. I'm not gonna lie. To be a rookie, he looks mature. He looks sharp. I gotta give it to him. I didn't want to ever see him, so y'all got him. Go Broncos. Bo Nix got a lot of hate at the beginning of the season, so I was very happy for him when he did well. I agree.
No, and let me explain something. He and Peyton's relationship was interesting as well.
I know.
Because Bo kept seeing things that Peyton did not.
Right.
And at first, Peyton was pushing back. But when Peyton stopped pushing back, that's when he got better.
Correct. He
started running his own games.
Yep.
And when a young guy says to me, Coach, I'm ready, take off the training wheels. For a guy like Peyton, that's really hard to do. That's one of the reasons he ain't like Russ. Because Russ didn't need him.
At all.
Okay?
At
all. And come to find out, he had actually picked the second best quarterback. And who knew? Because let's face it, by the time the Broncos picked, Bo Nix was all that was left.
Exactly.
Everybody left Bo Nix on the board. Did they not?
Yeah.
They left him.
He was it.
Minnesota passed. Atlanta passed. Right? Who else passed on court? New England passed. Right?
Yep.
All those
Everybody
teams passed on Bo Nix.
Yep. And
that was all that was
looks
left.
Like a keeper, bro. Yeah, he looks like a keeper too. You are right. I hate admitting
This is why all the people talking about the Raiders need to move up the pick for Shador. You don't know that.
Exactly. Excellent point.
You just saw a draft where McCarthy, May, who was the other boy? Penix.
Right, Penix looked pretty good. Another one.
But two games. Come on. I don't know. I can't see anything from that.
Not enough body weight.
Oh, not enough. But I'm just saying, some of the top-rated quarterbacks didn't do as well as some of the later-rated quarterbacks.
Right.
That happens all the time in the NFL. You cannot predict with a lock for sure, just like you can't do with people who have never been head coaches before. You can't predict how they're going to perform. Everything is situational.
It is.
And
It is.
I have overstayed my welcome.
It's all good. They love you.
One of those
We
nights
love
where
you. We love listening to you talk your talk. Okay?
It's a good thing that I'm a person that watches 4 football games at a time. Right? 2 big screen sets. Sometimes I can watch 8 games at a time. You know?
Right.
I watch the rest of these teams play. So when people talk to me about their fans, talk to me about their teams,
right.
I can talk with intelligence.
Absolutely.
I know some people.
Absolutely.
Some personnel and some guys that I pretty much like. Especially the ones going in the free agent market. Always keep my eye on them. Mr. Crump, we have one more small thing to talk about.
Yeah.
And that's those free agents. I can't see how we're going to get out of the building without getting Mr. Spillane and Mr. Morrig re-signed.
I agree. I think both of those need to be re-signed yesterday.
But
I won't say give them the bad
vacuum.
Yeah.
We got that power. Even if we hired a GM tomorrow, it's going to take a couple of weeks for them to get up 2, 3, 4 weeks, a month to get for them to decide.
Right.
And then we have to have a head coach and a new defensive coordinator, right? Has Graham gone anywhere yet? Has Graham been hired by anybody?
Nope.
I heard he was gone.
I'm pretty sure he's going to get he's definitely getting a defensive coordinator position, if not.
I'm shocked though. Job. There's been quite a few defensive coordinator positions that are filled.
Yeah.
Not with Graham.
No, I know.
Maybe he's interviewing. You think he's interviewing? Because they're not.
Absolutely, he's interviewing. Absolutely, he's 100% interviewing.
But for sure. I can tell you one DC position that's going to be open, even though Dan Campbell ain't going to want it. See, this is the idea of a GM doing what's best for the franchise. Detroit's GM, DC needs to go.
Right.
It's not, the injuries are not his fault.
Right.
But it's been 3 years. And defense has been Detroit's biggest, hugest problem.
We got one more, Miss Peggy. You got to stick around for this last one. This is I swear, this is the last one because this guy right here, I'm actually trying to get a show with. And this is the papa of them 2 knucklehead nephews that I got that was just on here. So this is Calvin Flowers, the daddy of Darius and Devin Flowers. And I'm going to let y'all know something. He absolutely, definitely knows all sports, not just this, and he's probably the best in basketball. But to his point, Raiders need to make a splash at quarterback. Every team in the division has a legit quarterback. Raiders have become the Commanders prior to this year. Mid-season, every year, they're talking draft picks and coach. He is 100% correct. That's where I can run down to those guys, their props. Like, the truth is, we need something that's going to deal with what's
but see, people like me, we're sitting back looking at the fantasy football crowd, and, very commendable.
Right.
But we have a chicken and an egg problem.
I agree.
We don't have our coach. We don't have nothing.
Yes, we don't have none of that.
First,
and we're already putting who he should know how to develop.
You already done hired the quarterback, and you ain't got an OC to train him.
Exactly.
Does that make any sense?
It doesn't. It doesn't.
It's a chicken and an egg problem. It's a priority.
It is.
People think the quarterback is the most important position. They are fixated on it, obsessed with it.
Right.
But I suspect that O-line and OC are even more important.
It comes first, yeah, because you need to protect that guy. I mean, this is where Jaden Daniels gives the Commanders, you know what I'm saying, that extra thing that,
for a moment,
won't have because he has the ability to run.
Right. And that's going to last about 5 years, and then what happens when he can't run anymore?
Exactly. And
he's still going to have to become a pocket quarterback.
He's going to have to be developed. He'll have to be developed. And and for the record, I think he will 100% be developed. For the record, Turf thinks he is 100% going to be absolutely developed. I think he's here for the long haul.
Happen.
So
I think he deserves for it to happen. If the Redskins are truly a different franchise than under Snyder,
right.
And I say that with a sneer, then one of the things they have to learn is patience.
Right.
Let the thing play out. Develop your quarterback. Be patient with it. They done gone through 3 first-round pick quarterbacks before they got to Jaden. Right? Didn't they have Haskins? Then they had Sam Howell. I don't know whether he was a first round. I mean, they done tried everything but
everything under the sun. Everything under the sun. We got one quick last one because I've never met this person. Creole King 33 in the building. Shout out to Creole King. Appreciate you for coming through. Hope you enjoyed the show. Please, everybody, don't forget to like and subscribe before we get out of here. But a great question. Do you think or believe the Raiders' O-line as a whole is in the top 10, of the NFL? I'm gonna say absolutely not. I don't even think we're. I'm not gonna say we're not remotely close. No. I'm gonna say we're not remotely close. We're in the bottom. We're in the bottom 15 for sure. Maybe even in the.
And I'm just gonna add PFF. Bless their hearts. I used to be a fan of PFs till I saw how they weighted their grading.
Right.
Okay? When I looked up and saw a guy like Andre James rated in the top 10 centers, suckered us into giving him a 3-year contract, which he did not deserve.
That was insane.
But we got to be careful about looking at these grading systems for O-lines, okay? Because a lot of times they're weighting things that have nothing to do with the performance of the running game, with the performance of the passing game. They're just grading the individual, okay? And I'm telling you, I don't give a darn that Meredith was one of the top 5 guards in the in the PFF ranking. We couldn't run the football. Okay?
Right.
We couldn't run on his side. We couldn't run on the other side. We couldn't run up the middle.
Right.
All season long. We had one 100-yard game out of 17.
Right. Man, this Creole King guy, man, you got to come back because now his question is, now since you agreed, is your interior strong enough to draft your quarterback of the future? That is a great question. It is a great question.
The dynamics.
I like this guy. Yeah.
Picking a rookie quarterback.
No, I agree.
You got to have the pieces in place, so you're going to get that boy killed.
Yes.
You're going to get him hurt. You hurt. I don't understand why Raiders don't get this. How many times did Aiden get hurt? Twice. Right.
Yeah.
We lost Minshew for the season with a broken collar behind that O-line. We had 3 quarterback injuries, and y'all was saying, demanding that we put a rookie behind that trash?
Right. Nice.
You gotta get your house in order. OC, O-line. Before you bring in a young quarterback, don't destroy his career and his confidence.
I already said it. I don't think Brady's going to do it anyways. I think Brady's going to get a quarterback and sit him. It could have been Jaden Daniels. I think he would have sat him anyways. That's just my 2 cents.
But it would have been the best thing for the young man's career, knowing how terrible.
Right.
And we had no field stretching wide receivers.
Nothing.
We had to fire the OC mid-season. Y'all wanted them to bring in a quarterback? Is that mess going on?
Can't do it.
What would you have done to that young man's confidence?
Can't do it.
These things are important. I am not talking about side things. This is important. When I say a young man, it's not his skill set, it's who he is drafted by that determines his career.
Absolutely right.
And if you get a team like the Raiders drafting you, no OC, no O-line, no running game, no field stretching number one receiver, no passing game, right? We were ranked 28th there. You're gonna kill his career. You're gonna delay his development. He's not gonna be able to mature.
Right.
And what have you done? You're the Chicago Bears. 6 years, 3 first round quarterbacks. What are they doing today? What are they doing today?
Creole King is trying to keep you up. I'm sorry, Miss Peggy. He's trying to keep you up. This brother right here. One more quick question. Is the D-line suitable to get you to a potential playoff seeding?
But you know they were. We were chomping at the bit to see the D-line rotation that we had.
Exactly. And I do think we're there. I think we're all the way there on the defensive line. I mean, we get one more rookie, right? We draft another D lineman and another edge guy, and I think we're more than set on that D-line.
And you know, Mr. Crump,
way more.
I know you share this. I'm still mad at McDaniel. I'm so mad at McDaniel's, words can't describe it. But I'm most mad at him for passing on Jalen.
Oh, don't get me started with that one. That's the one that eats me alive.
Oh,
it eats at my soul. It eats at my soul.
That's when I knew they were.
Could you imagine if we had him and then we went and got Wilkins on top of Seven Coons still?
Oh, my God. Max would have had 20 sacks.
Oh, my God. Oh, yeah, Max would have had 25, 30 sacks on his own.
I mean, come on. But, again, the Raiders, this refusal to pull the, and it was started with McKenzie. This reluctance. He's got a Mac, and he don't want to pair Mac with a top DT. He just keeps. I remember when what's the boy from Detroit, the one Sue.
Yeah.
Sue was available, and I kept saying Sue and Mac.
Yes. That would have been crazy. I remember that. That would have been crazy.
But we have had nothing but punks and chumps in our front office.
I agree.
We don't know if we can coach those guys.
I agree.
That ain't even right, Mr. Crump. That's not even Raider.
That ain't no Raider way. It ain't.
We brought Lyle Alzado in, who everybody admitted that they couldn't coach.
Right.
We brought him in. You're going to bring in a Lyle Alzado or Jalen Carter or Ndama Kasu.
Right.
That's the Raiders.
That's the Raider way.
I know.
That's the Raider way. I agree.
Because we want to be nasty.
Right.
I don't care about his penalties. Okay?
Right.
I don't
One
really
more
care.
time. One more time. Shout out to Creole Kid. He just said, just to let y'all know, I'm from Sin City, born and raised. Salute and big shout out to the channel.
Thank you.
Salute, shout out to you, brother. I hope you like and subscribe. Man, I already want to bring you up there. I already want to bring you. I already know I will have a ball talking to you,
Mr. Crump. You
Absolutely.
have been so generous with your time tonight, my Raider. Thank you, all my Raider kings and queens.
Yep.
I am definitely out of here. I'm way over my time, but I have had such a good time talking about the entire NFL, right? History lessons and all.
Absolutely. Well, as always, thank you so much. You know this channel is always open for your wisdom, for your knowledge. You come through here whenever you want. You got a full open invitation. I don't care what week it is. I don't care what guest I have. You are a friend.
I really am honored, and we're going to do this again real soon. Thank you, everybody.
Absolutely.
See you soon.
Have a good night, Miss Peggy. She's out of the building, ladies and gentlemen. So, yeah, that's obviously y'all can see we went way overtime. Way overtime today. And, yeah, shout out again, Miss Peggy. Much love, Miss Peggy. I'm letting y'all know, our Raiderettes know football, gentlemen. Our Raiderettes know football. They come, they support, and they know what they're talking about. They really do. I have blown my hour. This is almost 2 hours tonight on the Ultimate Raider Fan 32 show. You know, I gotta say, I appreciate my family coming through, man. One more time, shout out to Darius, Devin, and Nate Daddy, Calvin, for coming through, man. This is going to be the last one that we take a pop at from my nephew. And he says, Will Levis was on fire all season, and he will never get another chance. Elite quarterbacks are drafted into bad situations, and they are expected to make it work in 2 to 3 years. You're absolutely right, nephew. And that's why you're seeing more quarterbacks just completely just get washed and they have no shot. You know, Tom's talked about it. Everybody's talked about it. It is what it is. That's the NFL today. That's got to change, though. At some point, they got to give these kids some time to develop, or there will be no quarterbacks in this league. Until the next time, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, I'm working on another show, too. I'm working on another show for tomorrow. I'll give y'all that little nugget. But you already know, y'all see my guy here all night. Titletown Sports Talk. That is my main man, Spence. He is the second half, or the first half, I should say, of Dead in the Water on Thursday nights. We usually watch some kind of a game, hockey, basketball, whatever's available. But don't forget to watch us. It's going to be tough for the Turf and Rundown show on Friday nights. I know. Turf is traveling all over the freaking Big Ten, right? Like I said earlier today, I'll be in Iowa, right? Iowa City. As my daughter in Minnesota, University of Minnesota, them GGs, them Gopher Girlies, they are taking on University of Iowa. So we're going to get all of that stuff back on track. We're going to figure that out. But until the next time, this was one of my favorite shows of all time. We are out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Peace.
Let's go, baby. We all the way on the fourth row, baby. You look good in that silver and black. It's about the game, so I'll be handing out cards and everything. I'll be at every Raider game. So.